how small. Currently, there are 8 community volunteers, both professional dog trainers and amateurs, fostering shelter dogs and training them to be better companions and pets. That's 8 dogs out of the shelter, 8 dogs who might be considered for permanent homes. After training, the volunteers will gather at the Bark in the Park event featuring the Pro-Am Challenge September 30th. They will compete for awards, and hopefully community members will adopt the trained dogs and keep them out of the shelter. The goal is not only to train these 8 dogs, but to plant the seed of an idea in the community, the idea that if we each contribute to solving a problem in the smallest of ways, it makes our community stronger and the problem becomes smaller. Please join us at Bark in the Park September 30th and cheer on your favorite Pro-Am contestant. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. We really appreciate your volunteer work. Very seldom do we just get volunteers that take on a project like that, but that is a very worthy project, and thank you so very much again. And you're welcome to volunteer for a lot of other things if you would like. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any more citizens' comments? Okay, all right, I think that was all. Let's move on to presentations and announcement. I have a proclamation here from the governor of the state of Texas, Greg Abbott. It's very long and lengthy, so I'm not going to read the proclamation. I'm just going to make a statement. I declare the state of disaster proclamation issued by Governor Abbott in effect for the city of Henderson, Texas, as of August 22nd, 2023. I have the document here. Council, I think y'all have a copy of this in your packet. If you don't, well, I have a copy, and you're welcome to read all of this, but it's very lengthy, and it's very interesting. So thank you so much for that, Governor Abbott. Okay, we have item number 2 on the presentations and announcement, and that was National Night Out proclamation, but we're going to postpone that until which meeting, Jay? Probably September 12th. September 12th. Okay, so we're going to table that. Council, I'm going to need a vote on that. I need a motion and a second. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, no opposed? Thank y'all. It is tabled. All right, so we'll now move to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a thing that we do, and we select several things that can be all voted on in one strike. And I think y'all probably already read that. There's one item on there that's the fun run. Ebenezer Baptist Church fun run. Do we have anybody wants to speak on that? Is anyone here? Okay, here we go. Y'all get on up. Yeah, come on. It's here. Yeah, it's here. It's here.
Do I have the wrong one? No. Item 3 on the paper that I have here says consideration of possible action upon the minutes of July 23rd.
Item number 5. It's item number 5. I'm sorry. Yeah. Fun run.
We are on the consent agenda.
You
yes,
are.
We're here for consent.
That's okay.
Okay.
We're going to consent.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a new pastor at our church. This is
Okay.
Brother Stephen Haney, and I told him that, we're just here. Nobody ever asks us any questions.
Oh, yeah.
And I never present, but
Oh,
here
yeah.
we are. I'm going to present.
Bring the pastor on up.
Oh,
there.
okay. Well, come on up and stand. So my name is Kayla Tillison. We started the Resurrection Run going on 8 years ago in 2024, the spring of 24. It's going to be our 8th annual. Our former pastor, Matt Golson, preached a sermon once about using your talents and your gifts for God. And
You know him.
yeah, I know you know that guy. And so I am a yeah, he's gone, but he's still a friend. I'm a runner, and so I kind of just approached him after church one Sunday. I said, hey, let's do a 5K. He says, okay. So the Resurrection Run was born. We essentially, it is a fundraiser for Sunshine Lighthouse, which is a transitional women's home in New London. We keep none of the money. All of it goes to them, apart from, the cost of running the event, shirts, medals, all of that stuff kind of costs money. We solicit sponsorships from local businesses, and we also raise funds through folks signing up to run or walk with us on race day. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Our theme verse is Hebrews 12, 1, run with endurance. And we host around Easter. We do a little gospel presentation at the end of it. So essentially, our goals are twofold. We want to raise money and help people in our community, and we want to tell others about Jesus at Easter time. And so that's what we do.
So we need to pray for cooler weather for March the 23rd.
Listen, y'all, we've been through it. One year we had a tornado.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I keep jinxing myself because I said, oh, no worries. In 2020, what can be worse than 2019? And then COVID.
Yeah.
So I guess y'all can thank me for that. I don't know. But
well. Anyway, they've always been very successful and very well attended. So
we've seen at our peak year, we were knocking on 400 runners. And they come from out of town too. When you look at the map, they come from.
Is the pastor a runner?
I'm working on getting up.
You might could slightly run, about like me.
I came in to this where I've got at least a couple of months to try to get up to
practice.
Where I can
Get up to practice.
participate.
Well, that's very interesting. Thank you so much for coming.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, council, we need to vote on the consent agenda items. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed. No opposed. Thank you very much. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay.
It was sent to you.
Me too. That's all right. If anybody needs one, just raise your hand or something or whatever. Okay, we'll move on now to council business regular session. Item number 6 on the agenda is consideration and possible action upon resolution 2023-07-03. Making emergency repairs to the Central Fire Station attic. There was a typo there. It might say roof on your document, but it's the attic. A tabled item from the July 25th meeting. We've got Neil here, Neil Holland, and Rusty Schultz, Fire Chief.
Sir, thank you, Council. So again, this is the item that was tabled at the last meeting. This resolution is to cover for the cost of installing spray foam insulation up in the attic to the underside of the roof panels. City crews have already gone in and removed all of the ceiling tiles like this where the insulation was before. Now all of that has come down. The insulation is going to be up at the top of the deck, and that's what the resolution is. If it's your desire.
All right, any questions from the council?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
The way that you're discussing the repairs, is that what was sent out for bids?
So what we're talking about right now is just the spray foam insulation. We're going to be doing some duct work that we're going to be taking bids on later this week. We're either looking at, it all has to do with the way airflow happens through the building. When you're working with the insulation up above a ceiling like this, you have dead air that's up above there. That air is usually used to circulate through the air conditioner units like a plenum. So now what we're going to be doing, we're moving all of that barrier up to the roof to stop that heat load from coming into the building. So the bids that will be coming up later this week will have to deal with the duct work. We have some old units. Rusty, how old is that? Those units around 17 years? 2000. Yeah.
Models, all of them but one.
But what we're going to be doing is we're going to go in and clean all the units. We're going to re-insulate all the units. When we were taking some of the ceiling tiles down, some of the ductwork was separated, so cold air was being distributed up in that attic space. It helps create humidity issues. The other thing is that as a part of this, we're going to have to add dehumidifiers to those units.
That we don't already have.
That we don't have right now. So we're going to have that. That's not a part of that right now that would help with that sweating problem that had been occurring. Because you got to understand that that attic space is probably 110 degrees, especially during today's time. So now with that insulation at the top, you're not going to have that heat load up in the attic space above the ceiling. That air space up there should be within plus or minus 5 or 6 degrees of your conditioned space. So it's much cooler up there. But we still need the dehumidifiers because we have a lot of people that's in that building during certain times of the day, and that's when those air conditioners are having to work so hard. The other thing we're going to be looking at also as an addendum to this bid is because of the age of the units, do we want to spend that kind of money on old units that we might not get another 6 months to 18 months worth of life cycle out of? So we're also going to take a bid to not only do the duct work, but also to have new units that would be two-stage units. Right now, you have a fixed motor on those units, and they're either on or they're off. And that's some of the problem with the not having the circulation up in that attic space. So going with a two-stage unit, when it's on low speed, that unit runs 24/7. It runs all the time. Most of your air conditioning units are made like that today. So that's going to help significantly with that. If we do the new units, we won't have to have the dehumidifier up there. I don't know if I've made that crystal clear with you. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the air quality up there. We've gone back and forth with some of our local contractors about that today. They still have some concerns. What we weren't talking about with them initially was adding that dehumidifier, and that's what we're adding into this bid.
So the dehumidifier will stop the sweating that keeps coming through.
Okay, any more questions on that subject? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve? Second. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed? Yeah, you oppose? Yeah. Okay, that's okay. It still passes. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on to item number 7. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Item number 7, consideration and possible action upon entering an interlocal agreement for health benefits with TX Health Benefits Pool. Karen?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Unless
It
I
says
say
Karen-
something wrong, and
it
then
says
she's taking it.
Karen or Jay, so.
Yeah, I'll take
Jay's
it. TX Health Benefits Pool is the new name for what we've always heard as TML Benefits Pool. They've changed names. Of course, every year we use a third-party broker, consultant to go out and solicit quotes for us from numerous different companies on our health benefits. And of course, you know, this is the healthcare industry just continues to get more expensive for a lot of different things, prescriptions and everything else. So we had an increase this year. We looked at a lot of different opportunities, including self-funded plans, which the city's done at some point in the past. But the options just didn't make sense for what we had currently going. And so we elected to stay with the TX Health Benefits Pool, and with a slight increase that they have, but we'll just do another one-year agreement with them, and those numbers are reflected in the budget. Those premium numbers are already in the budget, and they were in there right at the beginning of the workshop. So no changes to the budget to it. But we have to do an agreement with them every year. Whoever we choose.
Any questions that Jay or myself might answer? Okay. None being said, I'd like to hear a motion to approve. I hear a second. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Okay. All opposed, no. Okay. Thank you. Item number 7 stands approved. Okay. Item number 8, we're going to open a public hearing on the City of Henderson's proposed 2023-24 budget. Okay, this will be at 6:26. We're going to open the public hearing. All right.
Mayor, Council, the proposed budget is the same as we've talked about in our previous meeting. No changes with the exception of the tax note that we discussed last council meeting, adding a $500,000 tax note to the balance of the budget. This would go all to streets. So it moves that line item from 200 to 700 like we discussed. And so that is reflected in the tax rate as mentioned last meeting as well. No changes to the proposed budget for this hearing compared to where we were last meeting. Anything else to add, Ms. Karen? Nope. Okay.
Okay, with that being said, I'd like to hear a motion to close the budget public hearing. All right. Okay, gotcha. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Okay, item number 9 and 8 actually stand approved. Item number 10 on the agenda is consideration and possible action upon taking a record vote for the proposed 2023 property tax rate. I think Jay can handle that one for us.
Sure. I misspoke last meeting, as I said this would be the identical tax rate as last year, but I missed it by .0000001. So I apologize.
Is it going up or down?
We did as close as we can, but it went down. .0000001, it went down.
Oh, my gosh.
So .541799 per $100 valuation. Of course, current rate that we're in now, or last year's budget, .541800. So when it all comes back, that's as close as we could get. That's as close as we could get, right, Karen? She tried. She had a lot of pencils and erasers to get there, but we made that happen. So again, that's the same as we discussed last time. What your vote this time is just you're moving forward the proposed rate. So there's a record vote here moving forward with the proposed tax rate, and then there'll be a public hearing on the tax rate and a second public hearing on the budget in the future. So this is not the adoption of the tax rate.
No.
It's just a proposed rate that you're proposing moving forward.
Questions? Any questions from the council? Okay, if not, do I hear a motion to approve? Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed.
That was ayes.
Okay.
Asking for City Secretary, all ayes, unanimous.
Item number 10 stands approved. Item number 11 is consideration and possible action upon the order of a municipal election to be held November the 7th, 2023. Cheryl, I believe you've got that one.
Municipal election that will be November the 7th of this year.
Okay. All right. Any questions on that, council? Okay. If not, do I hear a motion to approve? Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed. Item number 11 stands approved. Item number 12, we need to open another public hearing on the proposed City of Henderson Property Assessed Clean Energy. That's a acronym is PACE. I think of the program. I think Mr. Dub Taylor's here, and you step up to the podium. Tell us about that PACE program, if you don't mind, just, or answer questions. What? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Mayor, Council, just a quick review.
Yeah, right.
I was here back in May.
Yes, sir.
And gave a presentation on how this worked.
Yes, sir.
Part of that outline was a two-step process that cities and counties take to adopt this. You've done step one, which was to adopt a resolution of intent, which set a public hearing date of to date. That provides an opportunity for any members of the public to provide comments if they wish. Once that public hearing is done, then you have other items on the agenda related to setting up the program. So,
Yes, sir.
here to answer questions.
Okay. Y'all have any questions for Doug? Or do you? Council? Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. All right. No vote on that. Information only. Item number 13 on the agenda is motion to close the PACE program public hearing. Okay, we'll vote on this. All right, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed. Item number 13 stands approved. Item number 14 is consideration and possible action upon Resolution 2023-0801, establishing the City of Henderson PACE program. So we'll set this thing in motion at this point. Okay? All right. I hear a motion to approve. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed. Item number 14 stands approved. Item number 15 on the agenda is consideration and possible action upon approving a professional services agreement with Texas PACE Authority to administer the City of Henderson PACE program. Okay, all right. We're still on the same item, but it has different steps to it, so we're having to go through all the steps. All right. Do I hear a motion to approve? Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed. Item number 15 stands approved. Thank you, Dub. Item number 16 is consideration and possible action rescinding the juvenile curfew ordinance, number 2023-04-04, to comply with House Bill 1819. Chief Taylor, I believe you might have some information on that.
Yes, sir. Mayor, Council, the Police Department is recommending that the City Council rescind our juvenile ordinance. The reason this is because the Texas House Bill 1819 restricts local authorized curfews. This bill was signed during our current legislative session and goes in effect September 1st.
Need any further explanation from the chief?
I believe it's midnight. I understand completely, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're on the record. hear a motion? Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Okay. Thank you, Chief. Item number 16 stands approved at this time. Item number 17 is consideration and possible action upon the Civic Center Board reappointing of 5 members and 1 appointment for Civic Center Advisory Board member. Stephanie, I believe you may have some information on that.
Good evening. Yes, sir. Staff recommends that council accept the reappointment of David Hill, Nancy Preston, Jean Stokes, Leanne Mills, and Bill Garman, and the appointment of Deborah Kangerga to the Civic Center Advisory Committee.
Questions, council, to Stephanie on that? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve? Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed. Item number 17 stands approved. Thank you so very much, Stephanie. Okay, item number 18, I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do with it. Consideration and possible action upon amending the HEDCO bylaws. This item here is not just quite ready at this time. So we're going to table it, but I think John's already up here, so he's got to come up here anyway.
Two more items after that, so.
I know, he's already going to be here, so. Anyway, go ahead and tell us.
There was, the board approved some bylaws today, but Jay and I had a short discussion, and I think we're not quite ready to approve those right now, so.
Okay.
We suggest tabling them.
Are we tabling that? We're going to move to item number 19. Yeah, we can go ahead. Yeah, we can. Go ahead. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed. Now we'll move to item number 19, consideration and possible action upon HEDCO program of work for fiscal year 2023-24.
Y'all should have a copy of that in your board book, council book, and we tweak this every year. It is a required document that we approve at the HEDCO board level and the city council level each year, and it basically is an overview of what we intend to do over the next year. And so I won't go through it all unless we need to, but we like I said, we tweak it a little bit based on things that are going on, and it has been approved by our board today, and so we're hoping the city council will approve it as well.
More questions for John, or any questions at all for John on that item? Motion to approve. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed. Okay. Item number 19 stands approved. Item number 20 on the agenda is consideration and possible action upon HEDCO budget for fiscal year 2023-24.
All right, this is basically the same as the previous item. Our board met this afternoon, and so we went through the budget extensively, and so the board approved the budget this afternoon and presenting it to the council for approval as well tonight. So there was no changes that we made in it at our meeting this afternoon.
Any questions on that item? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve? Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Like sign opposed. Item number 20 stands approved, and thank you, John. Item number 21, consideration and possible action upon the dedication of Bain Boulevard to the city of Henderson. Billy, tell us about this.
Council, good evening. there was a new street, first one in many years, built in the city of Henderson, and Bain Investment Holdings, as you recall, a couple of meetings ago, made a request to be withdrawn out of the plan development over there in zone, out of Dr. Z's plan development over there on Highway 79, and council approved it. And by withdrawing from that and the HOA rules, and they're kind of forced him into having the necessity for a new entrance into his property. So he came to me, and we put a plan together to build a street through there. He obtained a permit from TxDOT for an entrance. It was approved back in February, and then he began construction on new street going by our adopted subdivision ordinances. I inspected the curb and the base that was put in. It was core sampled by Terracon. Those samples were sent, results of that sampling was sent to Stokes and Associates, and Mr. Holland reviewed those results and approved the street was built to our subdivision standards. At this time, Mr. Bain is requesting that this street be dedicated to the city, knowing that he has to maintain it and do all routine maintenance of it for 1 full year as a matter of warranty. And he is requesting also that the street be named Bain Boulevard. How long is this? It's about 75 feet. It's a short street.
Short street. Not a lot of a, not much of a street, but it's a good street.
A well-built short street. Mr. Bain has bought the other property that adjoins this property here, and then that street will be in, as it uses the entrance into that properties, those properties as well.
That's one way to get a street named after you. You can buy the
Build
street.
your own.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
There's,
Okay, do I hear a motion?
yes, sir.
Yeah, it'll be
it's
ours.
Take over the maintenance of it after 1 year. No big trucks running through there.
They can't go far.
They can't go far. Yes, sir, absolutely.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Main Street does exist. Thank y'all. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Well, I don't know about that. I know that. I understand. Okay. Time now for departmental reports. Council, if you got all these things in your packet, if you have any questions on any of these items, including the boards and commissions, now would be the time to ask that question. I'll give you a minute or so.
Council, if there's no questions, or I can entertain that time, but verbal report basically off of kind of what he's been doing and what some questions related to the street process, the street bond, the history, kind of what that looks like, together, some different things.
Sir?
Yeah.
Not just yet.
Get your recorder out.
Yeah, not just yet.
Being recorded,
Yeah. Maybe they can play back the recordings of it. Good evening, council, mayor, boss. You guys over there? So, okay, so we've talked a lot about streets, street bonds, fixing streets, all this, and y'all have heard me for years, the ones it says, and years of her whining for money and some more whining and some more whining. But I know a lot of folks don't even know how we do all this, you hear street program a lot. You hear that word mentioned a lot. What is that? What do we do and how do we do it? So that's kind of what I was going to talk a little bit about tonight. Since we are fixing to start another street contract, looking for possibility of next year doing even more, and we're getting really close to where I've wanted to be for a very long time. So this really is excited. I'm very tired, but I'm very excited at the same time. So a street program. How did it come about? What is it? Blah 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 blah. Back in 2003, around March of 2003, when I come to work here at the city, we had a lot of problems with our streets. And this is a common problem amongst most cities because the streets are aging. They were built way back when subdivision ordinance really weren't enforced. So a big problem with what the streets we had was, number one, we had a lot of old dirt streets, which we're slowly getting rid of all those. And number two, the subgrade underneath these old streets and all asphalt streets was never stabilized and in very poor shape. So, going back in and just overlaying all these streets really wasn't an option. So we needed to address the subgrade issues in order to get to a point, and we're almost there 20 years later, to where in the future, all we have to do is overlays and seal coats, and we can go a long way. So we started out, first we decided, of course, we needed a street inventory. How many streets do we have? Where are they all at? What are the sizes, square yards, width, length? It was a long process. So we got the inventory done. Next question was, okay, how do we choose which streets get done first? And there was a lot of discussion on that. And ultimately we came to a place where we said, okay, we need to give the streets a score. We need to find some method that takes all the politics out, takes all the other, my street's worse than yours, all that stuff out, and just give them an actual score, turn streets into numbers that we could put in an order and start knocking them out. So we went through all the streets and we gave them a condition rating and we gave them a traffic rating. And then we went to council and said, okay, how do you want these ratings compared? Do you want a weighted composite? Do you want flat out what's the worst streets? And council at that time wanted a weighted composite of traffic rating 2 to 1 of condition. So you have a traffic score, how much traffic's on it. You double that score, what it is, and then you have a condition, and it gets 1 time. And that's how we come across it. And we put it all down, and we started the program. There's roughly 400 streets in town, around 70 miles. We have a lot of streets. Out of those 400 streets, actually 395, I think is the exact number. We have completed, we have reconstructed 331 of those 395 streets in the last 20 years. So we've got 64 streets left in town, and every street in town would have been reconstructed. So we're getting close. Out of those 64 streets, we have some concrete streets, or 17 concrete streets. Working on getting some grants for those. We have some bad concrete streets in parts of our town that was originally done with grant work way before I got here and wasn't done correctly. We're working on that as well. So that's where we're at right now with how it was done and where we're at. We're in the process of regrading the 67 streets we have left to see what gets put on the next street program and in what order. And I'll run an estimate on it, and then we'll come up with a contract. It'll go to Neil, and then it's on from there. So, in a nutshell, City of Henderson really has nice streets. Any kind of business where you drive a lot of streets in East Texas, they will tell you Henderson has some really good streets, and we do. And we're really close. As soon as I'm trying like everything to finish this out, and if I can finish this out and get us started on an overlay and seal coat program using the same criteria that we've done in the previous times, then yeah, we'll look good from now on.
Okay, council. Y'all heard that. So I made a plea to y'all at the last council meeting to get Davis some numbers.
I have heard
some
from
streets.
them. I have.
Hey, that's great, because that's what we got to do. I think you were first.
No, actually, you got me that first night. Yeah.
Yeah, you're top of the
So,
list.
yeah, you were on the list, and yeah, I can tell you those two were already right there, so we ain't got no worries there. Before I even recondition them.
Please, y'all examine your streets in your districts and
Especially when we're getting down these
let
last
Mr. Brown know.
streets.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Mr. Weatherton. You've got something on your mind, sir. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They are, and we get a report from them every year on all the bridges in town. Sure. Right. Right. It is. There's some issues with that, with Webster Drive, or Martin Luther King Drive down through there. Yes, sir, there is. And it was something done before my time, and yeah, we're gonna fix that, and that's in in this list that we're working on. So yes, sir, it does need to be addressed. And I know a big question is, well, what about the storm drains? What about the water lines? What about the sewer lines? Yes, we go through all of those as we're doing each one of these streets, so we don't have to go back and tear them up. And yes, I give the list to Randy, and he starts running through them and looking at water lines and sewer lines, and we look at storm drains.
Overlay.
Sir. Right. Ultimately, my opinion would be we need to go back to the score. But that's really ultimately a council decision on how y'all want me to do it. But I think that's the most fair way, because there are some streets that were repaired 20 years ago that don't need anything, and there's some that were repaired 10 years ago that they need a little attention now. It just depends.
That's where we use the judgment of Neil, to kind of help y'all decide exactly
Absolutely.
what you really need to do. And so,
Absolutely.
and that's what we have to do. But I think it's going in the right direction, because we do have extremely good streets as an overall picture.
Yeah.
I understand we got
There's going to be bad ones here and there, yes,
some
sir.
bad ones scattered around.
But I think it's something that everybody that has anything to do with Henderson should be proud of. I know I am.
Appreciate it.
Sure. Any other questions? I'm working on the list right now, trying to get everything knocked out. It's going to take a little time, but yeah, I'll have y'all some streets here pretty soon.
Council, if you're curious about a certain street, get with us, get with Mr. Brown. It could be that street is already one that's been taken care of and restructured, but it's one that needs some some more attention at this point. Just remember that we need to finish out this full thing, get reconstructed of these other 64 streets first, unless there's something that needs, and there are some patches and things that we want to make sure we take care of, and we continue to do that all the time. But we're not gonna go back and redo or tend to a street before we finish resurfacing the full phase, if that makes sense. Generally speaking, but make sure you check and see if you have a street on your mind. Get with Davis, he can tell you when that was reconstructed, if it's been reconstructed, where it is on the list, and then we'll go from there. So, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Appreciate that. Okay. That being said, I think it's about time to go into executive session at 6:57, and we'll move into executive session now. Start with City Attorney discussing real property located in 1700 block of Highway 259 South in accordance with Vernon's Texas Government Code 551071072.